Welcome to the Style and Grace podcast. Maintaining mental health and tackling real life issues. Honesty and compassion. Where style meets substance and grace meets real life experiences. All right. Hey, y'all. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of the Style and Grace podcast. I'm your host, Whitney Victoria. And y'all, I am so excited. I have my good friend, Samantha Minott, on the Style and Grace podcast today. Let me give y'all an introduction of my girl. Today, I have the honor of sitting down with a phenomenal woman, someone I truly admire. She is a wife, a mother, a nurse practitioner, a wellness coach, and an author who is deeply committed to helping not just live, but to live well and truly transform their lives. She is dedicated to saving lives and changing the trajectory of how we view our health, our habits, and our overall well-being. And beyond that, she is a content creator and influencer in her truest sense because she is influencing us to do better, be better, and show up as our best selves every single day. I am so excited for you all to hear from my girl, my good sis, Miss Samantha. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Whitney, for having me on today. I am truly a fan. I am truly a fan. I am in awe of your work, your resilience, your passion, your dedication. Whitney, you're not new to this at all. Listen, I know we're both over here blushing big time. We're brown people, but it is
Yes.
okay. But it's something to truly speak about when you have people in your corner who not only root for you when things are going really well, but root for you when you're in the trenches as well. So for us to be here together tonight, kid free for 2.5 seconds,
Yes.
can we give it up to the
Amen.
Yes.
Amen. Girl, I am, like I said, I'm so glad to have you. Like, we're not new to each other, but our audiences are, combining right now. So I am excited for that. Shout out to Mark for bringing us together,
Yes.
TMCBA
Yes.
all day. And I'm just excited. So let's get into it. So for those who don't know, can you tell us a little bit about who Samantha is behind the white coat and the Instagram handle?
Love me some Jurassic Park. Let me tell you, I'm a geek out on some Jurassic Park. That's who Samantha is. Samantha likes Soca. Samantha likes Jurassic Park. Samantha likes scuba diving and surfing. That is who I am as the individual, not the mom, not the wife, not the nurse practitioner, not the entrepreneur. And I feel like a lot of times we lose who we are, right? We lose who we are in serving. We lose who we are in motherhood. We lose who we are as a wife. And I honestly feel like with each pregnancy, you lose a little part of yourself. But it is something to behold when you have the process of getting back, not to who you were, but to the essence of you so that you can become the better version of yourself, not the one who was in survival mode, but the one who is now thriving, who is now
Yes.
nurturing a family, who is now supporting her husband in his goals and endeavors. Woman who is really, how can I say this? The woman who is really stepping into what God has called her to be, right? And so that's who Samantha is now. Samantha
love
is
it.
stepping into that.
Come on, Samantha, reclaiming her time. I love this for you. I love this for you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Because
Thank you.
I know your journey, and it's so beautiful to watch you grow and flow in these spaces. So you talking about you a fan, honey? I'm a fan. Okay, all day. All right. What inspired you, Sam, to become a nurse practitioner, and how has that journey shaped you personally?
My grandmother, easily my grandmother, because she was a nurse. She came from Guyana and she was a nurse in Guyana. And of course, when you're in the medical field, once you come to the United States, they essentially don't consider your degree a degree. And you just have to start all over. So the fact that she really cared enough, was passionate enough to resume her career here, go through it all over again. Working nights. I remember like she would leave in the evenings and then come back in the morning. And I remember there were days when it would be her weekends off, right? And we would go to the local nursing home. And I'm like, why are we here on the weekend? But she was going to check up on the people that she cared about. You know what I
Wow.
mean? And so
Wow.
that is what really started it off for me, like the idea of nurturing people back to health, the idea of really seeing that continuity of care. Like she really, it wasn't a paycheck for her, right? Like,
Right.
and who knows what she made at that time? Maybe it was good money. Maybe to us now, we would be like, "Oh, that's what it was." But even with that, she was still committed to that. And so I always wanted to be a nurse. And then I always said, okay, I want to become a nurse practitioner. And then I always said, I want to become a nurse practitioner and I want to have my own practice and I want to work with my husband. That's what I said. And I want to do minor procedures and surgeries. And that's just all that I knew, right? I didn't know how I was going to get there, but how that has shaped me as an individual or how that's shaped me even as an entrepreneur and as a nurse practitioner. I didn't realize all this time God was always there. He was always there. He would
Mm.
always line me up with certain patients that would say certain things. And this is why you have to be careful. I'm looking, my Bible is right next to my phone. And it says the heart right there. And it's so funny because today I talked about a scripture in Proverbs that says, "Guard your heart," right? And so he really put me in a position where I could identify parts of people that weren't being addressed in the healthcare system, right? But there was also a spiritual side that was not being addressed because all we know is medications, stop eating this, lose weight, come back and check your labs in 3 to 6 months, and nothing has changed, right?
Mhm.
What this has transformed me into becoming was this individual who was so bent on identifying the gaps in our healthcare system. So
Mhm.
that means for me, addressing someone's spirituality, addressing that their anxiety is not just something that needs to be clinically treated, but okay, what happened when you were a child? What church hurt do you have?
Exactly.
Right. You know what I mean? And so it's allowed me to connect those dots and realize, okay, all along, this is what God wanted me to do. So I
Mhm.
know where I need to be because He's been leading me through it every step of the way.
Or I know the plans I have for you. Okay?
Yes,
That
Lord.
hit different
Yes.
now that we're older. For I know the plans that I have for you. You talk a lot about evolving wellness and shifting your mindset. What does that mean to you today?
It's never ending. It is never ending. The idea of mindset shifting, I love mindset shifting, but I didn't realize how long I was doing this work. I
Mm.
was doing this work for like 5, 10 years in the making, but it was like little bits and pieces. And now it's coming together more and more. And I'm like, okay, I see. But some people don't believe in mindset work. They don't believe in manifesting. They don't believe, and that's a whole nother conversation. But
Yes.
the reason why I find that it works so well for me is because I know who I am in God. I know who I am
Yes.
in Christ. And because my faith is tied to that mindset shifting because the Bible talks to you about renewing the mind.
Mhm.
It's a
Mhm.
daily practice. It's not something that you're just going to get overnight and all of a sudden, all of your problems will go away. No, this takes daily work. And so, what that means for me today is it is a journey. You just continue. Even as somebody who's been practicing this for years, I found myself one day recently and I was just in a funk. And I said, you know what? I've drifted away too far. But the more you do the work, the easier it is for you to identify when you've been drifting and you say, okay, I need to come back.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Versus we could harp on something and it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be years that you're still holding on to this one thing that's eating away at your health because you've been so resentful, because you've been so angry and so bitter. But instead, when you do that mindset shifting, when you
Yeah.
know who you are, when you realize, like you said, he knows the plans that he has for you. But
Mhm.
I put my hands up because I'm good. That's above my pay grade.
That part. That
Right.
I love
So
that,
that's what it means.
Sam. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, no, I was just saying, so that's what it means to me.
I love that you talked about that, and I'm not a doctor by far or nurse by far. I just know, certain I know I'm going off topic right now because I had a list of questions, but you talked about maybe like the unforgiveness and the hurt and how that really can, cause damage to the body. Have you seen a lot of that? Have you witnessed that in people? And when you talk to them, have you had situations or patients to where, hey, this is what's going on. Like you need to work on this. How did you have those conversations, especially with people who are not believers?
That's such a great question because I get people's energy. Like I read people's energy from the time they come in. And then you have to know how to talk to somebody. Some
Mhm.
person may be okay with, receiving information straightforward, and other people you kind of need to like ease your way in to have the
Mhm.
conversation with them. But I will say, hey, I know this is your appointment, but how are you feeling? Like before we even get into what we came here to do, your spirit is telling me something is off. So
Mhm.
what is it that's going on? I always ask them two things. What's on your heart? What's on your mind? And
Mhm.
then here comes the story, right? Here comes what's really going on. And yes, I absolutely do see it with people every day because not for nothing, this is where endometriosis comes from. This
Mhm.
is where fibroids comes from. This is where certain types of cancers come from. We're holding on to those things. These are physical traumas, mental traumas, financial traumas, spiritual traumas that we have been told, especially as women, just keep pushing forward, just keep going. Like you could have an off day, but you got to pick it back up, right? There's never a moment where you really have the time to just resonate with your thoughts, reflect on those things because you're always looking ahead. And because of that, when we do that, we are stuck in a fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
If you're stuck in fight or flight mode, your body's going to do everything it possibly can to protect you. Rashes, eczema, things that come up on the skin have already internally transpired. And so autoimmune disorders, that's why things like fibromyalgia, which are more so predominantly known for women, really years ago, it was a diagnosis of exclusion because people didn't know what it was. They were just like, oh, go to therapy. Why? Because a component of that is depression. Why? Because of suppressed emotions that were not being addressed. And so, absolutely, I see this every day. And we have those conversations. We have the conversations about boundaries with family, but boundaries with yourself. Because if you're saying, I want to improve my health, you're not going to self sabotage every time you see a bar of candy, right?
Mhm.
You can't because you know you want more and you know you deserve more. And me, as the provider, baby, I want that for you too.
Right,
I'm
right.
not, I'm not gonna tell you go eat the snack and then just come back tomorrow. We're gonna start over. I'm like, no, but this is really what you want. So if this is what you want, I'm going to partner with you so we can make this happen.
Ooh, Sam, I love that. You said, "I'm going to partner with you." Okay, I did not have this question written down. So, Black women in healthcare, I think this is absolutely amazing because I do feel like some people feel like, "Hey, I would like to see people that look like us," in these rooms. Now, I do know the healthcare field, I feel, has changed drastically since COVID, right?
Mhm.
And we have these 15-minute, 30-minute blockers. It's like I gotta get the patients in and get the patients out. How do you navigate this new, air quoting, this new quote unquote system of healthcare, but also partnering with your patients to give them the quality healthcare that they deserve?
Yeah, yeah. I will say it's more than just a job for me, right? Most of my work has been in primary care. And so that is the heart of care, the healthcare system,
Mhm.
because everything else, all the referrals come from the primary care provider. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be very honest. I ran overtime often because I'm going to give you this, this good time. I'm going to give you what you need so
Mhm.
that when you come back, we're not having the same conversation. When you
Mhm.
come back, all you're telling me is, oh my gosh, look at my numbers. Oh my gosh, my weight has gone down. Thank you so much for referring me to this person. Sometimes it just takes the initiative to do a little bit more. And
Yes.
in a system where you are restricted to a 15-minute visit, a 30-minute visit, a lot of times we are doing people a disservice because all you're waiting for is another check in 3 months, another check in 6 months, and nothing has changed. I have said this from the time that I was a nurse, going to be a nurse practitioner. I'm like, if I see somebody again on the next visit and nothing has changed, I'm not doing my job. I need to see you less. I don't need to see you more. I need you to be able, and that's why I strongly believe in helping people reclaim their health.
Yes.
Because once they reclaim their health, baby, you don't need me. You
Mhm.
may need my tools and my resources, but once you connect with yourself and learn what your body actually needs, it's going to tell you every time. And if you follow that, it's not going to steer you wrong. And when people know that, it then affects their finances. It then affects their relationships, right? I tell people all the time, it's going to affect your finances because you're not going to be spending $5 at the coffee shop every day.
Right.
Because now we're drinking, nettle tea for our allergies or red raspberry leaf tea for the womb health, Like we're making these subtle changes. And when you do that, now your family is catching on. Now your kids, one of my clients, she's like, I can't believe how green our plates are now. I was like, we were only getting started. Like, and she was so concerned about how do I get my family on board? right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of weight to want to change for yourself,
Mhm.
but then you know that your family is accustomed to a certain lifestyle, certain type of dietary restrictions. And so you're like, well, how am I going to do it? I'm not cooking 2 meals. And I don't recommend people cooking 2 meals because baby, you're going to, okay, right. It then adds more weight to us. And
Yes.
it's just not necessary. So what I tell women to do every time is don't worry about them. Focus on you. When you start doing it and they see that you are being consistent, they're gonna be like, oh, wait a minute. What is mommy doing? What's on her plate? And your husband is gonna your husband is gonna tune in too. He's gonna be like, oh, babe, I bought this for you. I know that you're trying to do better. That's where the people start coming along. You have it. I say this thing and I mean it wholeheartedly. It has to be you. Yeah.
Yes, it has to be you. That's so good, Sam. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Just
Okay. Going back to the teas and greens and things of that nature. How do you balance evidence-based medicine with holistic lifestyle practices
that is
in
such a good question.
in your everyday life?
Because here's the thing. Evidence base is great. We have learned so much along the years, and not for nothing. Science is an art. Medicine comes with practice.
Mhm.
Practice means you got to fail a couple times, right? That is how they learned what they know now, right? Think about all of the Black women. I was literally just thinking about Henrietta Lacks the other day, just
Yes.
thinking about how, unbeknownst to her, they took her cells and now they have created a vaccine for smallpox. But you have to fail forward. And that's essentially what they do in the healthcare system. Unfortunately, it's usually tied to people who are impoverished or people who are in a lower socioeconomic status. But the evidence, the evidence does tell us some guidelines. Where I have some qualms with evidence-based practice is that who are you studying? If the
Mm,
medications on the market were targeted to white males over 50, that's who it's going to work for. It's not working for the 36-year-old Black woman with 2 kids, right? But
right.
you just kind of give it to her because you're like, well, if it's good for him, it's got to be good for her. No.
Right.
And that's the cookie cutter system that we tend to have, right? Everyone is made different in their own way. Everyone is an individual. And so what I do uniquely in my health and wellness coaching is yes, I know the history. Yes, I use evidence-based practices, but there is something very different about intuitive learning that you're not going to get in a textbook. There are things that the Holy Spirit will tell you, and a client will look at you and be like, how did you even know that? But it's because you're in tune, and those things are not studied because our people didn't necessarily always write everything down. We were orators. We spoke
Mhm.
everything out. But there's something that says like whoever has the pen writes history. You know what I mean? It's like whoever has the pen, whoever writes it down, that's the Bible. But it's not because there were so many other cultures who came prior to this that did what you're doing now, but you're now finding the evidence for it, you
Mhm.
know? And so I do like to have a healthy balance because, of course, you want to practice safely. But I also know that holistically, what may work for one person is not going to work for the other. Intermittent fasting may work for one, keto may work for the other. You have to know the individual. And by doing that, you can only do that when the individual knows themselves. And a lot of people don't know themselves.
That's good. That's good. Come on, let's give it up for our girl Sam. Let's teach it us. All right, let's dive into motherhood and marriage. Okay.
Whew. Okay.
How has becoming a mother shaped your view on self-care and wellness?
I'm the worst. But that's why I'm here now. That's why I'm here now because I had to climb a whole bunch of mountains and go over a whole bunch of hurdles in order to say, you know what? I made some mistakes and I'm gonna make sure another woman doesn't make it. I remember I call this the seventh step because when I was 7 months pregnant, I got COVID. And then 7 months postpartum, I got pneumonia. This was a year plus of me running myself ragged, thinking, oh, I'm gonna bounce back. I'm gonna do the things and I could still be a wife and I could still, you know, going from one child to 2 children. God help the people who have 3 children because that's just not going to be me. But 1 to 2, it's different. You're like, okay, you're still wanting to meet the needs of that child while also nurturing this one, while still entertaining and nurturing a marriage because that marriage came before the children,
Yeah.
right? And then somewhere in the midst is you who gets like the crust of everything, right? And society has really programmed us to believe of mommy martyrdom. That's what I call it. Like, you are
Mm,
just sacrificing yourself for the greater good of your family, but they need you. If you're not here, what are they going to do? Right? We're like, okay, the strong Black woman, the independent woman. So you're an alpha female at work. You can't be an alpha female at home. I'm saying it from experience. It don't work too well. And so I had to realize, first of all, we really need to do a better job at teaching younger women to love themselves, to nurture themselves. It's not a treat. You know, we're so good at getting a gift and then we put it up for later when I go out on this event or when I find something nice or when I, no, you use that now. Because if you don't appreciate yourself to use it now, you're not going to use it later. No one is going to create that opportunity for you. You have to create the opportunity yourself.
I love it. Sam, okay, and what's so crazy, Sam, I just did my last episode, I talked about pitching yourself. Sometimes
Mm,
we have to create our own opportunities. And
yeah.
in this moment, medically wise, for women and for those who don't take time out for themselves, create your own opportunity to nurture yourself.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
it's easier said than done because I myself have been guilty of continuously pouring from an
Mhm.
empty cup and giving and thinking, "Oh, it has to be this because if I don't do it, how are they gonna manage? They'll be just fine."
They will be just fine, baby. They
They
will be
will be
just fine.
just fine. Okay. Have you faced any moments where you're doing it all and felt overwhelmed? And if so, how did you manage or how are you managing that as a wife, as a mom, as a nurse practitioner, entrepreneur? Honey, you wear a lot of hats, okay?
Yes, I definitely felt that way. I remember one time I was in the kitchen and I was like getting the dinner together and the kids were loud in the background and it seemed like so much was going on and I was so overly stimulated and I started to panic. I've never had a panic attack before in my life, but I felt so overwhelmed and I told my husband, I need to go. I need to go step outside. And I walked the block probably about 2 times. That was probably about 30 minutes that I was gone. And I was just like, this is not healthy. That's when I realized, Samantha, you need to put some things down and do not pick them back up. A part of that is control. It is definitely control. And excuse me, I feel like that may be control may be an issue for a lot of high achieving women because you had to get it out the mud. Nobody was handing it to you. And so you're like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it this way. And I'm going to continue doing it this way because I know what the outcome is going to be if I do it. I don't know what's going to happen if somebody else does it. And so I realized I really needed to depend more on the people around me. I can't keep crying out for help. And then when God sends the help, I'm not taking it. So that's how I was able to I just started accepting help. And I had to be okay with letting go of what I didn't have control over. And baby, it's a beautiful place to be. I am so grateful. And I want all the ladies to come with me because
I love that. As an oldest daughter, I am still learning that, and sometimes it's hard. My mother-in-law reached out to me the other day. She was like, "Here, do something for you. You don't know how to accept help, you know?" And I'm like, I really don't." And even my friend Amber a few months back decided to, bless me, and I'm just like, she was like, "You need to let people do things for you," because I'm just like, "Oh, I don't want to feel like I'm a burden or I can't do it on my own because I'm Mrs. Get It Done or, like you said, that control aspect it can be a burden on you and you not even know it.
Mhm.
Especially, now that's a topic, Sam, that we're gonna have to revisit because I do want to talk more about that, the eldest daughter syndrome and
Mhm.
how to help, women relinquish that control or what can be done or what practices that we can do to kind of like sit back. So I do want to revisit that conversation maybe for part 2 if you're okay with that.
Yes, I'll be there.
Okay, okay. All right. So let's get into branding and content creation. So, you are wellness evolving
Mhm.
online. And what made you say, because before we had Sankofa, and let me
Yes.
shout out to Sankofa because my girl Samantha, I had no idea who Mansa Musa was until Samantha told me about this. Now, this was before Beyonce mentioned Mansa Musa. Okay. You were educating us about this, this rich lifestyle that he lives. So first of all, thank you for that, right? So
Yes.
after Sankofa, you tap into wellness evolving, coaching,
Mhm.
and things like that. And y'all, let me go back. Sankofa was, are we saying was or is?
It's on hold. It's on hold, but it is a clothing company.
Okay. It is a clothing company. And I would say it's a legacy clothing company because
Mm,
family oriented, because Sam really did teach us a lot, especially about our history, African American
mhm.
history. So Sam, thank you for that. So branching into the wellness evolving coaching, right? What made you start sharing the wellness evolving online?
I mean, you know what? It was my sister. My sister really said, because I was on Instagram, but it's like, so she was like, no, you really need to go to TikTok. TikTok is where you need to be. And for education purposes, I said, okay, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. 30 days. We'll see what happens. And then, you kind of get into the flow of things. And then, it just kind of went from there. How can I say this? It was just okay, let me say this, I'm sorry. If I have to put okay, here we go. If I have to put on makeup every day and put my contacts on every day to give you some information, I'm not gonna do it. TikTok lets me show up as I am with a bun, with my glasses, in the kitchen, and so thank you, Holy Spirit, because many, many, many years ago, I was writing down things on a piece of paper like, God, these are all of the things that I like. These are the things that I like to do. These are the things that I'm naturally good at. It was like photography, traveling, food, wellness. And I'm like, what do these have to do with each other? Like, how does this all connect? And so when I started doing Wellness Evolving, and I started to notice, especially now, people, especially on Instagram, they resonate the most when I'm in the kitchen. So God is like, you don't need to go out and learn another skill or get another hobby, do any of those things to make this. I need you to use what you have in your house.
Mhm.
That is physically what I have in my house and physically what I have in my house, my body, right? So what are the things that I'm naturally good at? And so that's how I ended up making content in the kitchen and making content with regards to, hormonal balance and functional nutrition because we just don't get that education in our average health and wellness or our average primary care visits. And so when I just showed up authentically as myself, people started responding and very, very appreciative for that.
Love that. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay. What's been your most rewarding moment as a content creator and wellness coach so far?
So it was a couple of months ago. I think it was in October. It was my 1 year anniversary on TikTok. And I was going about my regular morning. I made this liver detox broth, is what I call it. It's a broth that I saw online and I was like, oh, this looks really good. Once again, this is me intuitively saying, you know what? I don't want a heavy meal so much. I kind of want like a broth, like a soup, instead of consuming a heavy breakfast, bacon, eggs, blah, 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 all of the things. So something said, just post it, just share it. And so I sat there and I ate the soup or the broth. I drank the broth and I did my voiceover. And then probably by like noontime, we went to take the kids out and I was like, okay, it was like 3,000 views and 5,000 views. I was like, okay, so something is happening here. So I was like, okay. And then I decided, the Holy Spirit then said, go live. And I said, okay, so then I went live, which is interesting because leading up to it, I had told myself already, I need to start being intentional about going live. And everything last year is about being intentional. And so I intentionally decided to go live. I went live and then I realized it was like, it was going viral. And so by the evening, Holy Spirit said, host something else, post a follow up. So I posted a follow up video about that because at that point people were like, "Oh my gosh, what do I do? What are the ingredients? How do I do this?" And then they start talking about their health journeys, right? They start talking about their struggles. They start talking about, "Oh, well, this has worked for me as well." And I was just like, "God, I'm so thankful that you can use me in this space to be able to provide this information to other people, right? Because these are not things, once again, you're not getting in your average visit." What ended up happening was I had two viral videos within 12 hours of
Mhm.
themselves. And so then it happened again last month with some products that I liked. I'm not selling it. I don't have any type of affiliates or anything like that. And so I was just like, ladies, this is the product you need to get for hormonal, hormone friendly. It's shea butter. And I didn't realize, yeah, I didn't realize that that was going to take off. And again, it was two viral videos about the same thing. But this is how God math is. They will have you spinning your wheels, doing all of the latest trends and the dances and all the other things. But God was like, stay right here. Just
Mhm.
do this one now. But if I wasn't in tune with myself, if I wasn't cleaning up my diet so that I had more discipline, so that I had more discernment, I would have missed it. I'd have been like, nah, I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to go and do this right here. And I would have missed it. Not so much that I would have missed it for me going quote unquote viral. I would have missed it for the people who needed to get that information. So that has been the biggest, yeah, that has been the biggest thing for me.
I love that, Sam. I remember that. You text the group chat. I was like, "Yes! Did it. You did it. And you met your following goal, that you had for your follow." So, like, God is very, strategic, and I just wanna thank you for all the tips and the coaching that you do online. Now, if y'all wanna or in more in-depth coaching, make sure y'all book her. I'm gonna make sure I put her information in the show notes. Okay, so what does giving yourself grace look like in this current season of your life?
Giving myself grace looks like not always having to be on. That's just all that we know. And it's so interesting because now I am focusing more on cycle syncing for my clients. So that means, okay, we all have a circadian rhythm, right? Day, night. That is what works really well, especially for men. That's what society works off of. But women work off of an infradian rhythm. And the infradian rhythm is your cycle, the 4 parts of your cycle, which I'm not even gonna lie, we really didn't learn that much about. You
Mhm.
just know that you 9 to 12, you have a period. Okay, all right. And then I gotta get prepared, right? But no one really explained to you what you should be doing during this time, how you should be nourishing your body, what you shouldn't be doing during this time. We just still push through, hustle, grind, and it is toxic. And I feel like women deserve, especially women over 35 who have kids and are reclaiming themselves because they've been lost in the shuffle. It's time to stop hustling. It's time to start flowing. And one way that you can flow is by cycle syncing. So that means my how do you oh gosh, what do you go? My follicular phase, right? That's after your menstrual cycle. Your follicular phase, that is your spring, as my instructor calls it. That's your spring. So you're like, okay, starting to get back into the groove of things. I'm starting to feel myself again. This is when you want to be a little bit more creative. This is when you want to start, you have more energy, more capacity for people, as well as higher intensity training. Versus in your menstrual cycle, that's when you should be doing more yoga, Pilates, stretching, walks, internalizing. So you're doing journaling, you are reflecting. That's your quote unquote winter, right? And so that this has really allowed me to see this is where I'm going to extend the grace because, baby, I'm not hustling like a man anymore. I've done
Woo!
it for 30 plus years, and all it has done is led women to burnout. And so, extending grace to myself in this season means honoring my cycles. It means, okay, if it's this time, if it's during the menstrual cycle, I'm not going to have any big calls, not going to be doing any speaking engagements. This is just going to be the time where I reflect in with myself again, figure out what I need for the next quote unquote season. And so that when that next season comes, I'm like, oh yeah, baby, I've been waiting to get into this. You know what
I
I mean?
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's get into this. What's something that you had to unlearn in order to grow into the woman you are today?
To unlearn a lot of things. I did. One of the best things that I would say that I had to unlearn was caring about what other people think. It's okay for people to have their own thoughts, views, and opinions, but that doesn't dictate who I am.
Mhm.
And that has allowed me to really show up authentically on social media because I don't need your validation. I don't. I'm just here with the heart of hearts to provide information. But if I have to look and say, well, this person didn't like I didn't get any comments on this. Oh, baby, no. You have to understand that internally, you are the girl. You are, you, you were already her. You were already her. And the reason why you were already her and the reason why you feel so much friction in your life is because the old version of you wants you to be comfortable and the new version of you knows what you got over there and she's just waiting for you to catch up.
Clock
And
it.
so now you're like, you're doing a back and forth. You trying to jump in for the double dutch and come on, just jump in. Scared or not, jump in. So yeah.
I love that.
That's
Come on, come on, come on. Okay, let's get before I let you go, we're gonna have a little quick fire game, okay?
okay.
All right. Coffee or tea to get your day going,
Tea, absolutely, every time.
okay? Your go-to self-care routine when you only have 15 minutes.
Good shower, like a exfoliating, deep cleansing shower. Yeah.
Uninterrupted from the kids,
Right.
okay? One thing people will be surprised to know about you.
Mm. Hmm. Nice to know about me. I guess I speak Spanish. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw this in. I know the answer, I want the people to know. I want the people to guess. Okay. Paris or island vibes?
Island vibes every time.
Okay. What is your dream collab or brand partnership?
Right? That's tough. I guess I'm thinking about Whitney. These are hard. There is a brand, and I guess I'll say this because like this is the closest thing to my mind right now. There is a brand called Lively. It is a app that it is not your average for your period. You know what I mean? It gives you more information, more insight, more reflections. And so I said, you know what? I would really like to collaborate with this because I really need people, I really need women in particular to understand their cycles. And so I think that that would be a dope collaboration. Let me see if I can think of one more. I really wanted to collab with, oh my gosh, what is her name? Ida in Yongo. Because when she came out recently and she was speaking about her gynecological issues. I'm trying to remember. It wasn't endo. I want to say she had fibroids.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and so I was just like, I'm so glad that women are speaking out about this. But it pained me for all of the women who've been suffering in silence for so long. Every time I saw a woman come into my office and she had told me I just had a hysterectomy because I had fibroids and they were young, and I was just like, but we could have done this with diet and lifestyle modifications and stress reduction and that, like, so people need to know those things. So being able to collaborate with someone like Lupita would be amazing.
Yes, and that is not far-fetched because,
No,
y'all, Sam told me about Lively. She was like, "Whitney, you need to try this app," and so I'm looking forward to trying it out, Sam. So thank you for just all that you do, and I have one more. I have one more
Yes,
question.
sure.
What does wellness evolving feel like in one word?
A hug. Oh my God, I'm not about to cry. I'm not about to cry. I'm not
Let
about
it
to.
out. Let it out.
No, I'm not about to cry. But it feels like a hug because feels like for once in your life, you're being seen in your health and wellness journey. You know what I mean? You have someone. I literally walk with my clients, legitimately walk with my clients, and the things we get into now is not where we started. Like I have one client who is working on a business because of her health condition, right? She turned her pain into purpose. That is not where I was expecting this to go, but I'm open to every place that God is going to lead us. And so, yes, it feels like a hug. It feels like a handhold, like I'm in this with you.
I love this. I love this so much. I love you. I'm proud of
Thank you,
you.
Wit.
Thank you so much for your coaching. Thank you so much for your teachings. Y'all make sure you guys follow Sam on TikTok and on
Thank you.
Threads,
Yes.
Instagram, but TikTok be popping off. You hear me? And I'll make sure that I put Sam's information so that you all can follow her. So be sure to support, go like, go comment, go subscribe, do all the things to support her. If you need a primary care, she's virtual. I'll put that link in the description as well. Hit her up for your wellness coaching. Don't forget to purchase her book. I will put that in the
You are so silly.
description as well. So, Sam, thank you
Thank
again.
you.
Thank you for all you do. Is there anything else that you want to leave for the people? Is there a message you want to leave for the people?
Yes, my instructor has just been laying it in thick. And so I will say this before I even teach people, I have to go through this first. And so it very much is a personal journey for me. And I don't take it lightly because I know the people trust me with for my medical knowledge, but also that guidance. And so, oh my gosh, let me find this thing real quick because she said it. And when she said it, I was just like, take me out. So she quoted Dr. Neil Nedley, who said, genetics may load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. This is for the people who like to say, "Oh, diabetes runs in my family. Well, high blood pressure runs in my family. I was gonna get it anyway." No, no, you weren't. You can change the narrative every time. Every time we have the opportunity to put something in our body, we can either fuel it or we can quiet the flame, right? And so you have the ability, it's never too late to make those healthy choices. Every small intentional step over time leads to big change. So genetics may load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. That just took me all the way out.
That's a bar. That's a bar. Thank you. Thank you so much
Yes.
for that. And I like again, thank you for this conversation. Thank you for all that you do offline.
Thank you.
And I just pray that you grow and be prosperous in every area of your life, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically,
Thank you.
financially. And as you pour, I pray that you are being refilled because you do a lot of pouring for
Thank
the people. And thank you so much, y'all. Y'all, a great conversation. Again, I'm going to
you.
put Sam's information in the show notes. And I hope you guys take something from this message. And y'all, the Grace Gathering 2.0 is happening August 22nd,
Woo.
2026. So make sure you secure your tickets if you want to be a vendor, want to be a guest. You just have to be in the room. So again, Sam, thank you for all that you've done. And to
Thank
those
you.
who are listening, you know how it ends. Here is where style meets substance and grace meets real life experiences. Until next time, I love y'all in real life.